Let me ask you a question. What if there was actually a way to make your hair grow faster than normal? I'm talking noticeably faster. I'm not talking about overnight growth or some fake miracle oil situation or whatever that we see on Instagram adverts. Not talking about that, yeah? I'm talking about genuinely speeding up your growth rate because over the past few years, I've noticed something. There are a few women that have extremely long natural hair, and they seem to have one thing in common. But before we get into that, let me just say this first because this is really, really important. Your hair is already growing. All of our hair is growing unless you have some kind of scalp or health condition affecting your growth. So, this video is not about magically making hair grow out of nowhere. Most of the time, the real issue is actually length retention, meaning retaining the length that you are growing. Your hair grows from the scalp, but it's the ends that are breaking off at the same time. And so that's why somebody could potentially have 6 inches of growth from their scalp, but it still looks like their hair hasn't moved and it's still stuck at their shoulders. So honestly, growing hair faster is not even the important thing. Retaining the hair that you already grow is. But if your routine is already decent, if you're already retaining some length, and if you're in your era, what Yaya calls your length retention phase, and that's where you're pretty much just focusing on retaining length, like me right now, then the natural next question becomes, okay, how can I speed this up a bit? And that is where this particular ingredient that we're about to talk about comes in. Now, I first started paying attention to this after binge watching Curly Proverbs videos. And when you watch somebody's channel, and after a while, you start noticing a few of the same themes, a few of the same ingredients coming up over and over again. You may notice that in my channel as well. And I also noticed Curl Code Black talking about a slightly similar thing as well. So a year ago, I experimented with one ingredient and my hair grew over an inch in 6 weeks. It was actually 1.25 inches in 6 weeks. And honestly, I was shocked, like, whoa. Now, the ingredient I used is called MSM. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because, like, why would I? But I'll put it on the screen for you and I'll let you pronounce it. But basically, MSM is an organic sulfur compound. And one of the reasons people in the hair community are interested in this is because sulfur plays a role in keratin and collagen production. And obviously, our hair strands are made up of keratin. But the main thing that caught my attention was this. MSM is believed to extend the anagen phase, and that's the growth phase of our hair cycle, meaning your hair may stay growing for longer before it starts shedding. So when I clocked that, I was like, okay, let me just try this. So sorry, I'm shaking the camera. So I bought some powdered MSM and I started with a really low dose of just an eighth of a teaspoon. I mixed it into some orange juice alongside also taking vitamin C tablets as well, and a lot of water. And when I say lots of water, I seriously mean like lots, because let me warn you right now, the headaches are no joke, like literally no joke. At first I thought, like, okay, this is calm. I can probably do this for about 3 months. That was my goal, 3 months. And I'll probably get bare inches. Yet no, no. The water intake itself became like a full-time job. And if I didn't keep it up properly, then my head just, it was not feeling good. The headache was crazy, and that didn't feel healthy for me at all. Now, the interesting thing is, even though the growth was amazing, I did eventually stop taking MSM consistently the way I was doing it. And it wasn't that it wasn't working. It definitely did. I got that 1.25 inches in, 6 weeks, which is really good. But for me personally, the headaches and the water intake, it just wasn't practical. So I chose to stop. So now a year later, and this is basically how I use it. So now I'll maybe take MSM orally, probably once a week or sometimes once every 2 weeks. I'll also add a little bit into my DIY scalp oil, and occasionally I'll put some in my aloe vera juice spray bottle as well. But honestly, most of the time I tend to forget to put it in the spray bottle because, again, our hair is already growing naturally anyway. So I'm not necessarily desperate to get faster growth. And I want to say again, this isn't something that you need in order to get your hair longer, like, not at all. I feel like it's more so something that people experiment with if they specifically want to try speeding up their hair growth rate. And I do think it's important to mention that everybody responds differently to MSM. Some women absolutely love MSM and others really struggle with it. I remember watching one woman on YouTube who even said that she felt like MSM triggered depression for her. So that was like crazy. Now, I personally didn't experience that, but I think it's still important to mention because taking supplements it can be very serious. Some people also report headaches and rashes like myself. Other people have said digestive issues, changes to their cycle, insomnia. I don't know. So if anybody is taking, considering taking MSM, then please do start with a very, very small dose. And also pay attention to your body and speak to a professional if you need to. Now, here's the part I think people do really need to hear. Even with faster hair growth, you still need length retention, because what's the point of growing your hair faster if your ends still end up snapping off at the same speed? That's why I always say growth and retention have to work together. You need moisture, you need low manipulation, you need consistency, you need a routine that actually works for your hair. And that's why I created the 12-week hair growth accelerator, because so many women are trying random products and really just hoping for growth, but not having like a proper system in place. But this is going to help you build a consistent routine focused on retaining every inch that you grow. And now I've also added the option to track your progress alongside it too. So if you want that as well, the link is below for you in the pinned comment. This whole topic of sulfur has actually got me thinking very recently. And in fact, I am doing a little experiment right now connected to this whole idea. I'm not actually going to tell you what it is fully just yet. So make sure that you subscribe, because when I do bring out the video, let's just say I'm very curious to see what's going to happen over the next few months. Now, if you want to see the video where I break down Curly Proverbs and Curl Code Black's methods in detail to see how they grew their hair so fast, then click the video that's on the screen now to watch that, and I'll see you there.